And this video tutorial is about extreme intervals for bass. Now when I say extreme, I'm merely quoting on sort of my own terminology. Intervals that are beyond the major seventh is basically what I'm talking about. The 9, 11, the 13. And typically these are extensions of the chords that a guitar player or a piano player might play. And you might assume it would be off limits because they are extensions of the chord, but they're not so much off limits as you think, because they are very useful to add colors to your bass lines. And sometimes in the case, even when the guitar player or the piano player is not even playing those chordal extensions. So this is what I'm going to talk about. And also, I want to let you know that it is also about hearing them, to understand how they sound before you use them, not to just throw them out there because it's possible. I have background recordings with the chords. I play the chords. I will play the chords with the extensions in them, which will work, and then I'll play the chords without the extensions, maybe just a major 7th chord, and you add the 9 or the sharp 11, which will work fine, and that's the bass part underneath the chord. And there are some limitations on this, but I will point them out. And for the most part, you must hear them, so it's mandatory that you actually play along with the piano on the play-alongs or with a friend or in a band and try it out so you can get the best use of them. Okay, on this line, we have a shape you have to learn that repeats itself over and over. And that would be 1st fret in the G, into the 5th on your D, which is on the 5th fret of the A string, and then the A, which is a 5th away from that. So you have 5ths going up in 5ths. G, D, A. G, a D, and an A. They're all in 5ths. The G is the root, the D is the 5th, and the A is the 9. And each one is a fret apart and a string apart. So that shape I use all over this all over this line. You'll see that shape over and over, going up and going down. So when you go up with this line, it's 5ths. Everything is a 5th apart. So the first one would be, then you move that up a 5th and start it on the D and do the same thing on the A string, 5th fret. The second 3 notes, a D, an A, and an E. A D is the 5th, an A is the 9th, and the E is the 13th. Now you got to understand something about the 13th. The 13th is an E as well as the 6th is an E. So what is the difference? The difference is that the 13th is an octave and a 6th above the root. That makes it a 13th. And it's very relative to how a piano player plays their chords and a guitar, because the distance makes the harmony work because of the notes in between. If you play a 6th within your chord, it's closer together, the notes. And if you play the 13th, it's way on the top. And it just has a different sound. But when you play it in the bass, you can play either note to accent that sound, that 6th or 13th sound. Move it up a whole step, do it once again. What happens, the last note in this part of this in this part of the line, you wind up on the major 7th of the G. You can even throw your G in there, make it a chord. We're not finished yet. In E, we have a B and we have an F sharp. Now the E is the 6th. We had it in previous discussion. The E was a 13th. So what is the difference? Why is this E a 6th and the other E is a 13th? Well, as far as a bass player is concerned, it doesn't really make much of a difference, because this is relative to what harmony a keyboard player would play or a guitar player. they play their full chord, all the root, third, fifth, major seventh, 9, and then the 13th. That's one possibility. And you can see the distance between the root and the 13th is an octave plus a sixth. So that makes it a 13th. But a sixth would be just simply from the root up to the sixth note. G, A, B, C, D, E. And like I said, for bass players, you can use that E either way with caution and a little knowledge. And I will show you that with the harmony and playing it with a piano part. But anyway, let's go to the next note, which is an F sharp. An F sharp is a major 7 of a G chord. Now this doesn't change with an octave. It's still a major 7 as far as a bass player is concerned. And with the harmony that a keyboard player would use, or a guitar player would use, the distance kind of has to be 7 notes up to make it really work. But not especially. It could be changed in voicings and everything. So anyway, that would be G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, 7 notes up, the 7th note of the scale. To put the chord in may not work well if you're playing it with other players and other harmonic players. So I would just play the G major 7th. That sounds nice enough. Okay, next what we do is you move up to the 12th fret, which is an A on the 12th fret of the A string, and you do the same shape again. You move across the neck in fifths and moving up on between 3 strings. So you do that. 12th fret on the A string, 14th fret on the D string, 16th fret on the G string. On this part of the line, I took some liberties. The root is based on the 15th fret of the E string, the G, and then right here you'll see the 9th. That is technically a 2, but 2 and 9 are the same note, so we can get away with that. The next note will be the 6th. That's right in the proper place if you're basing it from the root, which is on the 15th fret, G, on the E string. That's okay. However, the 3rd now is really a 10th because it's an octave and then a 3rd, but I'm calling it a 3rd because when you get this high up on the neck, as far as bass goes, you can probably look at it either way and still make the line work, and the harmony is well defined.
You move it up again a whole step. Now this note is a sharp 11, and it gives a real nice flavor and a nice tone to a G chord.
This will be the last part of the ascending line. You have a 3, which is right in the right spot because we're basing the root to be on the E string on the 15th fret. And so the 3rd would be just 2 notes away, so that's okay. As a matter of fact, all of these notes are in the right places without any octave adjustments, since we're basing it on the 15th fret G root. Now the next one will be the major 7, and that's in the right place as well. And the 3rd one is the sharp 11. That would be in the right place as well. That would be a C sharp.
The time would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4.
I'd like to run down the last part of the line, the descending line, real quick and go over it, and then we'll get into some other stuff. So it starts from the B on the 16th fret, 12, 14, 16th fret, and goes down with the same shape, but since we're descending now, and when you invert a 5th, you wind up with a 4th, you have B, E, A, A, D, G, F sharp, B, E, A, D, G, F sharp, B, E, all 4ths. It starts from the end of 4. So N1 and 2 and 3, 4. N1 and 2 and 3, 4. N1 and 2 and 3, 4. So we'll go over the first group of 2. Will be B, E, A. And then we start from F sharp.
we start from A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1.
In this video, I showed you the line, the technique on how to negotiate it, and the theory behind it. But there's still one missing piece to the puzzle. In part 2 of this video, I'm going to show you how to integrate this line with the pentatonic scale and use shapes so you can play it in other keys and many different ways using segments and alternate rhythms and patterns. If you like this video, please subscribe, hit the bell to be notified, comment, and like. I also like to remind you, on my Patreon page you can find the play along with the chords and the drums and a complete notes and tabs chart. I'd love to have your support, and in return you can have some charts and play alongs to learn this material. Until next time, and thank you for stopping by.